At least in the industry that I belong to, I think people will be the key drivers.
They have to be independent
Correct.
and they have to follow their passion without sacrificing anything for anyone.
Generation and cross generation, how quickly generations change. So I was talking to someone who told me that today every year is a new generation.
So, as responsible parents, I think we have to tell our children and educate our children and discipline.
I think technology and social media is a huge boon. It's a powerful tool in the hands of youngsters.
Welcome to Atelier with Brindha. Today, I have a very interesting personality. I'm with someone who has shaped up multiple generations of young women with thought, clarity, purpose, and a vision. I'm very happy to welcome Dr. Archna Prasad, Principal M.O.P. Vaishnav College, Chennai. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Brindha. Thank you for having me. Always very excited at the prospect of having a conversation with another woman. And when it's someone like you, someone as intelligent and successful as you, I'm sure it's going to be a fun outing for me.
Thank you so much. So, from classrooms to leadership, your journey has been truly inspiring. And you've been with MOP for almost more than 2 decades now. What made you rooted here all these years?
So MOP has been second home in the truest sense of the word. When I graduated from Atelier College, an M.Com graduate, MOP hired me even before I got my degree results.
Okay.
That itself to me was an indication that an institution wanted young energy on campus. It was a young college at that time. I was hired in the year 2000 when MOP Vaishnav was just an 8-year-old institution. Mm-hmm. And I was recruited by Dr. Archna Prasad, who's a doyen in the field of commerce. And the fact that she chose to hire someone as young as me itself told me that it's going to be an energetic campus that trusts not just seniority, but also looks for talent in all pockets. Starting my career there, I grew up the rungs quite literally, but more importantly, my journey and the college's journey have been simultaneous.
Growing together.
We've been growing together. So MOP in that sense is truly home for me.
Do you remember your first day at MOP? How was it and what kind of an educator you were back then?
Yeah. So my first class was when I handled income tax for the BCom Corporate Secretaryship program, the final year class. And the age difference between me and the students was about 3 years. Mm. So I was very conscious that they shouldn't take me for granted. So I probably tried to act, bigger than my years. But when I went into the classroom and a couple of weeks into the semester, I realized that students don't respect you for your age or your stature, but what they look for is one, subject expertise. That's a given, of course, but they also look for someone whom they can look up to, role model. They look for mentors. They look for a friendly teacher.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think quickly I made that transition in my mind. I said, I need to focus not on not on looking older than them, not on coming across as being much older than them, but preparing well for class, taking them beyond that textbook, bringing some practical exposure into the classroom, bringing opportunities for learning by doing in the classroom, and that's when they would truly respect you.
The more engaging
Yes.
we be with them,
Correct.
that becomes very
Absolutely. In fact, I think students respect a teacher who says, sorry, I don't know about this, but let's learn together. Let's be in this together. What they want to see is a very committed effort on the part of the teacher to be with them and take them in that journey, molding them not just in, say, an income tax paper, but giving them life lessons along the way.
Wonderfully said. So, what point of your career that you realized that leadership is going to be part of your journey?
Okay, so I'm always considered a bossy person even at home, right? And like every other typical young girl, my favorite game was to play teacher at home.
Wow. I used to play that too when I
Yes,
was
I think
young.
most young girls go through that phase, but with me, I think I never grew out of that phase. Leadership was something that came to me because of the school that I had. I went to. I went to Holy Angels Convent, where we had a way of leadership development. We went on from becoming junior prefect to senior prefect to house captain to school captain, and that kind of groomed me in leadership. But I never once thought that I would be an educational administrator or an education leader when I joined MOP Vaishnav. That was thrust on me. Again, by Dr. Nirmala Prasad. I think she not just mentored me, but she also believed in me. So I joined the college in the year 2000, and in the year 2004, I was made head of program.
Wow.
Just 4 years.
4 years.
Yes, 4 years. And then when you're given something that you don't know whether you deserve or you're prepared for, you definitely make that effort to grow into those shoes, right? You say, I don't know if I deserve this, but now that it's given to me, let
We
me.
are committed to deliver.
Yes, let me deliver. Let me make sure that nobody says it was given to me easily. Right.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Wonderfully said. So, you've been into this education industry for the last 20 years now.
26th year.
26th
This is my
year.
26th
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
And you've seen multiple generations of women. So, how do you think education back then has evolved according to you and your thought process to what it is now?
Okay. So before I answer that question, I want to share something very interesting that I heard the other day about this generation and cross generation, how quickly generations change. So I was talking to someone who told me that today every year is a new generation, right? So, which means typically on campus in a 3-year undergraduate program, you have 3 different generations. It's probably not exactly true, but it's largely accurate, right? So, yes, I've seen plenty of generations. What I have seen is, however, how informed and how enlightened the younger generation is today. They have access to information at the touch of a button. So maybe when I taught my first class, the internet was not the go-to place for information.
Right.
The library was. Not too many children would be able to afford all kinds of reference books, and no matter how well stocked the library was, there was always that reliance on the teacher to provide all that information.
Right.
Today, when you teach a class, I think they already have access to information. What you need to deliver is that value addition. You need to tell them, how can this information be applied? What information is right information? What information is wrong information? How do I use this information to my advantage? That's what you need to teach people today. I don't think mere curriculum delivery will hold good anymore.
So, coming to the tech and the social media that has gone in this generation, do you think it is going to shape up the younger generation for good or worse?
Yeah. I'd like to believe that it's a good thing, right? I think that technology is a double-edged sword. It has its goods and its bads. I think how you harness it is very important, right?
Right.
Too much of anything is bad, all right? So I think technology and social media is a huge boon. It's a powerful tool in the hands of youngsters. They need to be taught how to use it responsibly.
Exactly.
And definitely not shun it or, deny youngsters technology or social media. So I don't subscribe to the thought that cell phones should be banned on campuses. I don't subscribe to the fact that children should not be bought a cell phone or a tablet, but I believe that they should be taught how it can be used appropriately. For instance, using a cell phone inside a classroom when a lecture is going on is disrespectful.
Correct.
More than anything else, right? It is losing out on valuable opportunity to listen to an expert. It's a diversion, it's a distraction. Bringing a mobile phone or a tablet to the dining table is bad use of technology. So I think they need to be pointed out the right use and the wrong use of technology, but never denied the use of these
So, as
platforms.
responsible parents, I think we have to tell our children and educate our children and discipline them
Correct.
on the use of social media and
Yeah.
the phones.
Absolutely. I also think they need to be taught how to inculcate self-discipline and self-control.
Correct.
Right? It's not just about how much screen time. It's about what content you watch.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly.
What do you engage with? Right? So I think they need to be taught how to be responsible. It's just like how you teach a child. Can you prevent a child from walking on the road or crossing the street? Right? That would not be a healthy thing to do. You would have to teach the child how to cross the road safely, how to preserve themselves, self preservation. I would think that you have to look at social media or websites or the internet uh, like that. You need to teach them how to
Guiding
navigate
them
that,
on the content that
how to navigate that space.
very, very well said, very well said. So I had the opportunity to be at MOP Bazaar a couple of years, and I must honestly say that I was just blown away. And the idea and the thought process behind this MOP Bazaar, how did it grow? I'm sure that it has been there for
Yes.
years now
Absolutely.
at MOP. Can you
Absolutely.
tell us something about that?
So I think the MOP Bazaar is nearing its 30th year. Um, MOP Bazaar was an opportunity, was conceived as an idea to give young girls a taste of entrepreneurship. So what we found over the years at MOP was that when students graduate, they have high career intent, right? If you look at statistics, the labor workforce participation of women, at the entry level, the workforce participation is at about 50%, which means that for every man or gentleman who enters the workforce, there's a lady also who enters the workforce. Every boy who enters, there's a girl who enters. But if you go to the higher echelons of management, if you go to the highest levels, the boardrooms, you find that this percentage drops down to as low as 4%, which means that somewhere women give up their careers. It could be because of marriage, it could be because of motherhood, which are all very, very important and things that, these are institutions. Motherhood and matrimony are institutions that I subscribe to and I believe are wonderful institutions. So I think somewhere we need to teach women that all of this does not have to come at the cost of your career. And entrepreneurship is a beautiful opportunity or a beautiful avenue for people trying to balance motherhood, matrimony, because you have a certain amount of flexibility when you run the show, is what I'd like to believe. Never been an entrepreneur myself. You should validate what I'm saying. But so this MOP Bazaar was conceived to give students a taste of that entrepreneurship. For 2 days on campus, they could set shop, they could earn some money, they could feel financial independence, albeit for 2 days, right? They could understand how it is they could have a feeling of conceiving a business idea and rolling it out and seeing it give returns. So we wanted to give these young girls a taste of entrepreneurship. That's how it started.
That was so brilliant, and I was super excited seeing young minds with so many creative ideas.
Correct.
I ended up visiting each and every stall just to see the excitement and the energy they had.
Correct.
That was so brilliant. So how do you think that this should be nurtured in the future?
So I think it requires a very holistic approach, right? It has to start with inside the classroom, where you need to tell students, or you need to focus on developing creative thinking among students, idea generation among students. After all, even if they don't become entrepreneurs and they join a corporate, every corporate is also looking for some kind of creative thinking, an entrepreneur, as we call it in the textbooks, right? So creative thinking, design thinking has to be taught inside of the classrooms. I think at homes, inside the home, you need to kind of talk about, you have to talk about financial independence. Today, children can be very entitled with both parents working, a certain amount of affluence amongst the middle class. Children can be very, that fire in the belly could get lost. So I think within inside of homes, that fire in the belly should be retained. That feeling that I need to be financially independent needs to be triggered and kept. That fire needs to be kept burning. Creative thinking has to be spoken about in classrooms. The peer group is also very important, where success and competition comes from the peer group. If all of this, an entire ecosystem, works together, I think entrepreneurship can be developed.
Absolutely, very well said. And I also noticed that a lot of the young generation of girls whom I saw at MOP Bazaar, they were all oriented towards sustainable products. So was it intentional, or do you think the generation itself, they have it very strongly within themselves?
I think it's a combination of both. The younger generation is very aware that they need to take care of the environment, and therefore ideas like this appeal to them. But a certain amount of nurturing does help. So at MOP Vaishnav, we take our SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, very, very seriously. We take our green practices very seriously. And because it's there somewhere within the students, they understand, they realize that one must leave a better earth for the next generation. They embrace these ideas. I'd like to talk about a small initiative at MOP. So 2 years back, we started something called the No Private Vehicle Day. One day every month, students will not bring their private vehicle. They won't ride their scooters to campus. They won't come and get dropped in their driver-driven cars, or their parents, they won't come in their personal cars. They'll either take public transport, or they'll come to college in cycles and e-bikes.
Wow.
So when we started this, we were a little apprehensive. We wondered, how these young students would take to this idea. Would they look at it as being extremely difficult for them to do? Because some of these kids would have never stepped into an electric train or a bus or a shared auto, right? So how would they react? But somewhere it appealed to their good senses. And the very first edition itself was a super huge success. And today it's going to become a tradition on campus, where we all look forward to the third Thursday or the second Thursday, when we all either walk or cycle or take public transport to campus.
Wow.
And when they get validation from society. So this particular initiative that we call No Private Vehicle Day has been covered by media channels, has been covered by the newspaper. They get validation from society. Then they feel all the more energized and invigorated to kind of take it to the next level.
So the small, thoughtful ideas planted at this stage
Yes.
on young women, I think it is definitely going to go for a bigger cause in their
100%.
future.
100%. I mean, it's very cliche if I would say they are like clay in the hands of the institution, in the hands of schools and colleges, but it's very true as well. They are at an impressionable age, and it's up to us to kind of, take advantage of that in a good way and give them the right values and the right, the right principles, if I can call it.
So coming to this No Private Vehicle Day, the initiative that you
Yeah.
have been driving,
Yes.
we also heard about other initiatives like Transformational Thursdays,
Yes.
Financial Literacy, and also Asia Book of Records with
Correct.
UNICEF.
Correct.
Can you talk about those
Yeah.
as well?
So these are very close to my heart, and you've done your homework very nicely. So you're getting me to talk about things that I feel very passionate about. So Transformative Thursdays is an exercise where every day we have the prayer that goes up on the public address system. We operate in 2 shifts, the morning shift and the evening shift. And we play the prayer at the beginning of each of these shifts.
Okay.
On Thursdays, immediately after the prayer, we have a small meditation, a guided meditation, where a voice, and I don't know if you're familiar with Miss Ranjani Manian of the Global Adjustments Foundation, an entrepreneur herself, and today a social entrepreneur who does a lot of meaningful work and who's closely associated, has lent her voice because she believes in the power of meditation, and she has done several meditation workshops for teachers and students alike. So we asked her, and she did this for us. She recorded her voice along with some music. So it's a 3-minute capsule where students are asked to sit or stand wherever they are, and the meditation guides them through self awareness and to calm their minds. And we believe, and we call it the Transformative Thursdays, and we believe that this is a process of initiating them into meditation, yoga, whatever, anything that works to calm their mind down. So that's Transformative Thursdays, and it's been heartwarming to see again how the students have embraced it. Because if you look on Thursdays on campus, there'll be a hustle and a bustle and a hurry to the classroom. But the minute the bell goes off and the prayer, of course, during the prayer, they will all stand in attention, which is because it's been the way we've trained them over the years. But now they continue to be in attention till the Transformative Thursday meditation is over. So it's lovely to see the decibels just dropping, calm and silence, and I think it's a mental reset as well for all concerned.
Absolutely.
It's nice to see that people who visit the campus, so we have a vendor, we have a supplier, we have somebody who comes in from the corporation to fix something. When they see everyone doing this meditation, they would also join, which is nice, right?
Right.
Which is very nice. You were talking about the Asia Book of Records, yeah. So the Asia Book of Records was it just happened as a consequence of a training program. The idea was to take this UNICEF program. UNICEF was offering at that point, I don't know if they continue to do it, a financial literacy program for young adults. It was an 8-hour module that was available online and given completely free.
Okay.
So we thought that this was a good idea to inculcate, good opportunity to use to sensitize these girls on. See, you teach them entrepreneurship, you teach them how to use money, but I think it's important that they develop a relationship with money, right? The power of money has to be harnessed, and it's important that they learn the values of saving, prudent spending, growing your money, and how to kind of leverage that money for a better life. So we thought this program would be a good idea. Some of us, a team of faculty members, first took that program to see if it makes sense. It made a lot of sense even to adults who have been earning their own money for say 15 to 20 years. So we said it's a good thing for these girls to take it. We asked them all to enroll, and apparently, we were the only campus to have 4,500 kids take it at one go.
Wow.
And so we got recognized in the Asia Book of Records.
Wow.
And now we call ourselves a 100% financial literate campus.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
And with the achievements of MOP, it has also got the NACC A++.
Yeah, right.
So what goes behind such a level of recognition? I mean, what work goes behind building such a reputation for MOP?
I think it's 360 degrees, right? It's not just the management or the leader or the teachers or the students. I think everyone needs to work towards quality assessment. The National Assessment and Accreditation Council is a body that rates and ranks colleges and universities.
Yeah.
And A++ is one of the highest ratings. And MOP has a hat-trick A++. Every
Phenomenal.
5 years, thank you. Every 5 years or 8 years, depending on the cycle duration, you have to offer yourself for re-accreditation. And 3 cycles in a row, we've been accredited at the highest level. It means that we have a well-meaning team that wants to exude quality in all aspects of campus life. It cannot happen with just one group, say the management or the principal or the heads of program working towards quality. It means that we must breathe quality, we must live that quality journey. So we've this the process of offering ourselves as for accreditation has been an introspective process. It's made us look at observe our processes, internal processes, be it curriculum, be it curriculum revisions, be it curriculum delivery, be it evaluation mechanisms. Look at every process, understand the stakeholders' perspectives in those processes, and bring about improvement. So while the stars, the A++ ranking is good to flaunt, the effects that it has had on the process of education delivered at MOP has been phenomenal.
And it is also very important that you have to maintain the consistency in quality year after year.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because when you, like I said, when you're given something, you need to live up to
Right.
it. Case in point, for instance, if you look at our curriculum delivery process, right? We have something called a lesson plan. Now, a lesson plan is a time tested method. When we went to school, the teachers would write in a notebook, what they would teach on day one, what they would teach on day two. We do something that is a formal or a formalization of that kind of a plan. So every teacher, say I'm teaching a course that is for 60 hours, I'm teaching an accounting course for 60 hours. Before I start my lecture on day one, I have a rough plan of what I'm going to do over the next 60 hours. What are the case studies I'm going to take to the class? What are the experiential learning exercises I'm going to give? What is the video I'm going to show? For instance, what is the take home assignment I'm going to give to the students? We also include contingency plans. So, what happens if something that is meant to happen on day 5 does not happen? Because we have an unexpected rain holiday, the teacher falls sick, the students don't feel like studying. All of this happens. What do I do? What's my contingency plan? So, this kind of a systematization has helped to maintain the quality of delivery.
So, how do you even balance the pressure and the expectation that comes out of your role?
Out of my role,
Yeah.
I think it's about winning people over. People are the greatest asset of any organization. Bots may come, go. We were talking earlier about the power of AI. At least in the industry that I belong to, I think people will be the key drivers for a long, long time to come. I think you have to win people over in your relationships. You need to understand that while processes are very important, the learner as a person, the teacher as a person is also equally important. Right. So I've been able to manage expectations simply because I have a wonderful team with me who believes in what I dream, or I'm able to believe in what they dream.
Very, very well said. So, I've seen you wearing beautiful saris, and the way you carry yourself has been so graceful. What is the connect or the love you have for saris?
Saris bring the spring in my step. It's something that I look forward to every day. I think everyone has personal recharges, right? For me, getting up in the morning and wearing a lovely sari recharges me, right? It doesn't have to be something that is expensive or something that is new every day. It could be the sari that I have worn 30 times in the last, say, 6 months. It could be something that I've got from my grandmother or my mother. But that whole accessorizing it and, wearing it to work is something that gives me a recharge. It also helps that I work in an all women's organization, because this kind of energy bounces off. So you wear a nice sari and go, then the compliments start right from the minute you get into the gates of the college. And you also get to see so many other well dressed women that you make it a point that you have to kind of live up, live up to that, right? And when it's a college of young girls, they're all fashionistas. They're all fashionistas in their own way, and there's any new fashion, any new trend, you can see it in campus. And somewhere as teachers, I think you need to appeal to their aesthetics. Right. So, in fact, I think I lead a team of very well-dressed, beautiful women.
Wonderful, wonderful. It gives a special confidence and grace when we When we
Absolutely.
dress for ourselves, and especially sari, I think people listen to us when we wear saris. What I feel,
Yeah.
the way we communicate when we are in sari, our confidence, the
Yeah.
level in which we speak, it definitely boosts, right?
100% I agree with you. It's the most graceful attire, in my opinion. And again, in the profession that I am in, I don't want these youngsters to think that wearing a sari is difficult, walking in a sari is difficult, it's arduous to drape, you know, a 5 meter around, 5.5 meter around you. So it's important that we lead by example. When they see their teachers gracefully handling a sari and writing on the board or carrying a bundle of papers in a sari, I think somewhere these girls think that yes, we can do it. In fact, I don't know if I'm letting the cat out of the bag, but we are planning a sari marathon
Wow.
later this year in association with some like-minded organizations. And when
Wonderful.
that happens, we will definitely be inviting you as one of
I will be the first one to
yes,
come.
yes, yes, yes,
Very interesting, very
yes.
interesting. And I think the younger generation itself, these days, they are still, now they are going back to our heritage and roots of
Correct,
tradition. They
correct,
like saris, very traditional things and everything, right?
correct.
Than the previous generation. I think the Gen Zs are more rooted towards our culture.
Yes, I think, yeah, I think it's probably because of a conscious effort of some well meaning people, well meaning institutions that have kind of, brought it back, revived certain traditions and certain good practices, including the sari itself.
What is one value that you will never compromise even today?
Tough question because there is more than one I'd like to think, I'd like to believe. But if I have to combine all of those values and put them into one word, I'd say integrity.
Very well said.
Yes. Integrity is very, very important. I think it's all encompassing. It's not just being honest, but it's also being true to one's conscience, true to one's role, and very aware of what one is supposed to do and not to do.
At this point in your career, what do you think success is?
Again, a googly there. But I think at this point, after having played roles as a teacher, having played the role of a head of the program, and today as principal, I think success is about doing what playing the role that you are given to the fullest, wholeheartedly. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I think doing it to the best of your ability, adding a wow factor to it, will give you a certain joy that to me is success. I'm not decrying or I'm not undermining monetary rewards. But I think all of that is a logical consequence of giving your heart and soul to whatever you're doing.
Absolutely. So, when we give our heart and soul with full passion
Yeah.
and the results that we see,
Yes.
that gives a dopamine.
It gives the dopamine, absolutely. And I think everything else, all the other, the material benefits that you want or what might come under the purview of the word success will automatically follow. Because I
Right.
don't think we live in a world where hard work goes unrecognized or unnoticed.
What would be your one piece of advice to the younger generation of women who are watching this?
Yeah. To the young girls who are watching this, I would say build an identity for yourself that you are proud of. It doesn't have to be what somebody else wants for you. It has to be what you want for yourself, but more importantly, something that you would be able to put your head up and say, this is me. That would be my advice to them, whatever that identity is.
Especially for women
Yes,
of
absolutely.
this generation.
Absolutely.
Like how you said, they have to be independent
Correct.
and they have to follow their passion without sacrificing anything for anyone.
Absolutely. So it might sound very cliched, but when they get up in the morning and look in the mirror, they should say, yeah, way to go, you did good. So I think that's very important.
Thank you so much. And it has been really wonderful conversing with you and getting to know you. And I think a lot of insights on the values that are taught through in MOP and how you transform the younger generation of women and through through your thought process, through multiple things that you have initiated along with MOP. It has truly been very incredible, and it is very, very good to hear from people like you to, see how you're shaping up the younger generation.
Thank you. I think I've been very lucky to be able to pursue a passion. Teaching has always been a passion. Not everyone gets an opportunity to pursue their passion. I've been very lucky in that sense to have found my calling and found my calling in the right place at the right time. I'm very blessed in that sense. And of course, it takes a huge army out there, not just my colleagues at work, my students at work, my folks at home. Everyone's been a great cheerleader in this process.
Absolutely.
And over and above all that, when people like you choose to celebrate other women, I think it adds value. It gives that extra happiness. I've been a great follower of your work. I'm a loyal customer of your store. I like the energy when I enter there. I like the fact that the shop floor is predominated by women.
Thank you.
And I sometimes wonder how you do it all. And now you've added this podcast to your many outings. I wish you all the very success. And women are women's greatest cheerleader. And you will
Definitely,
always have one in the 4,500 MOPians.
So, listening to you, it's been very clear that education is not just about degrees, it's about shaping the future, shaping them with a purpose, and making them ready to face the world. And thank you so much for doing it so beautifully, not just as an educator, but also as a mentor with a force.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us today again.
Thank you. Kind words. Thank you.